be or be like. That's who I look. That's who I look up. That's who I relate to. That's why, like, if it's something about who I want to be like, or if that's what I'm trying to be, then we.
Well, I think it's interesting that the young males at the table is saying that. So you try and sponge it off of other males, and I think that's a whole nother dynamic, whole separate. So Jennifer, give us some thoughts about the third topic. Yeah, she'll find a way to get it in. Don't forget.
Well, I think I brought up this topic because it's something that we talk about and work with a lot at the Peace School, that, you know, so much comes out of, first of all, what we think, and what we say before what we do, right? So how do we start with kids young enough to start reshaping, like you guys were talking about, the importance of that mentoring. When you're a kid, even if it's like you're in second grade and they're in third grade, they're like, you know, they're big to you, right? I mean, they're the ones that you're modeling, that's what you're looking at, that's what you're modeling after. So how do we start ourselves first? We've got to be the models, right? We've got to show it.
Totally.
But how do we make that shift in our heads that, you know, I'm a human being, you're a human being, hey, you know, I don't have all the answers, let's see what you have to offer. How do we get ourselves to that place?
Exactly, because a lot of older adults, you know, they look at kids like they really don't know nothing, and they just they're everywhere. They need guidance, and they feel like you can't learn from them, or you guys can't really engage in the conversation. And I think that's what the gap is, because the kids looking at you like, you know, you don't really care about me. You're just there. You're trying to, like, in a way, belittle me, and just, you know, and trying to make it seem like I don't really know nothing, even though I'm 8 years old, or I haven't been through nothing, or I can't relate to what you're going through, or if anyone relate in general. And I think the older the adults need to, you know, to bridge that gap and actually listen to the kid and actually engage into the conversation and making them feel wanted and making them feel loved, and, you know, and therefore, because, you know, a lot of kids, they don't know what love really feels like besides from their mother, and sometimes or their father. Sometimes they don't even get that, you know. So just from another higher figure or older figure to really, like, show them that will take them a long way in life. And this, like, in school, the only people that really kind of got there was the counselors, certain counselors, because counselors will tell you, you know, what school, you know, that you need to go to, or talk to if you have a problem or whatever. There's been a couple of counselors that I came across like that, and that really took me a long way.
So we listen to each other, and all that we have said, all of these conversations and all of the opinions and thoughts and experiences, I'm picking up an underlying common denominator, and that's systems. These systems that we have been placed in, the educational system, the religious system, the prison system, the home, the separatism, all of these are coming out of these systems. So to me, it's like, how do we really, as you said, how do we now try to broaden our thinking and really take a serious look at these systems and break down the barriers, because a lot of the systems seem to be based on control and fear, and really, I guess fear is probably the biggest one, and then control, and the need to dominate. These are all dominated because you go through a system of education, and you're going to end up in some spot. And unfortunately, where we're ending up is not necessarily a good spot, which speaks to your piece. So everything that everybody is saying, it's like, wow. Restoring the higher values of life. It kind of goes back to some of the things that were said at this table. That's okay, say it in your own way.
Because it's human nature to kind of group off and categorize and all that. I don't think the systems would ever go away, but it's like, that's like this reform. If we could just, even though the systems may still exist, if they're more beneficial to our well-being, then that would probably make the world a lot better.
I think Lauren's right. Systems will never go away, but there was always systems, but in the past we had morality that linked everything together. So the system was surrounded by morality, and morality wouldn't let a teacher let a student fail. Morality wouldn't let a mother hurt a child and things like that. And it was the morality that was taught from home and spread out through everything else that that person touched. And throughout time, we've lost it. It's no longer there.
One
Could
thing that we touched on, which was sharing of information.
Oh, I just wanted to chime in. Actually, I know like she got the camera. I'm Julia, community website, so I kind of hidden every spot. There's a lot of spots that's going on. But I did want to add on, which actually related to actually you three, when you were saying that the fear, actually I think control go first, and then the fear kind of comes in next, because I think our community, our society wants to control. You're right, and that's what system that we're going to leave out because of control issue. And if you want to control some people, think the best way to control people is through fear. But the morality, like you say, if you could get back to the heart or go back into a spiritual zone, to me, why do I need to control you out of fear, still really being concerned about you, showing the love, showing some level of control that I care about you. But we have came to a system through our school system, through our justice system, through our medical system, through mental health. It's all about fear in some way. This whole system is full up of fear because they want to control. So control is first and then fear, seems like. Yeah, so
Well,
just
I
said
want
that.
to thank everyone for coming, and it's almost sad to have to cut it off. But I think, I feel very, I feel like this is very, like it's a form of healing. To just be able to go within for a few minutes in this setting, I feel like, I don't know how you feel, but I feel a spiritual, I feel a spiritual piece to it, and I feel a peace to it. And it makes me realize that just something as simple as sitting around a table and having a decent conversation, you know, not in a restaurant or anything like that, but just in a comfortable setting. I mean, while we talk about values and things that we've lost, I think this is something else that we've lost. You know, we don't necessarily do this. And maybe, you know, I know on the table doesn't come around again for another year, but maybe we would, not saying we would make this a regular thing, but I would think it would be good to do this again. And maybe after Peace Day, you know, maybe just to have a little celebration to celebrate what you're doing, because the work that you're doing is so phenomenal. It really is phenomenal, and it's so unique and so needed that maybe we would consider October to come back on our own. I think that would be a great takeaway for us as a group, you know, something to think about.
And to be honest, I did, but I'm glad I came though, you know, because it's just, I love talking about this type of stuff. I love being in this type of setting, and it's just great for my soul, my heart, and you know what I'm saying. When I walk out that door, I'm in a whole different, you know, mode and full of happiness.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I'm glad that I went on and said that's good. And thank you guys for letting me know. Final comment from Lauren Gray.
First thing I want to say is that I definitely am glad I came, because I guess I never really realized how big this education piece is. And because I hear all the time, education is key, it's important. This really show that, okay, it is. So I'm glad I came for that meeting. And then, second thing I want to say is, in my high school, we used to do colloquiums every 2 months. That was so beneficial. So it kind of reminds me of that. What high school? Walter Payne. Okay. So,
So you understand. Yeah, so you know they did colloquiums.
Right. But you know what? I know you said last word, but because that came out, that is why we need to do the cross-pollination of communities. We must do that. Because the information is not being shared if we don't. The people are doing different things all over, and we don't even know. Programs are happening in other communities that could be happening here, but we don't even know. So the information, we're only going to get it if we cross-pollinate.
One last thing to say, in playing devil's advocate, a lot of blame is being placed on teachers, and I don't believe that it's totally the teacher's fault, because it's a fear thing, because it's moved so far away from the moral compass that as a teacher, I can't say anything to this child in fear that their parents will come and crack my skull open. I can't be forceful with this child because I'm in fear that if I say the wrong thing, then I'll lose my job. Or the police will come and take me away. And it's a fear thing. And like she said, it's a control thing. The educational system is so controlling that nobody can prosper, from the principals down, teachers to the students. Nobody can prosper in a system that's being choked out. And the education system is being choked out because of the moral compass that's been taken out.
Well, I think that's another reason. We did Agape. You all know what Agape is. I won't go into it right now, but it was very renewing and spiritual. But your work also is designed to bring out the best in people and liberate. So the other big thing is the systems, but then it's liberating ourselves from these systems. So I think the other big topic, or the other big system, is liberation. How do we liberate ourselves so that we can liberate somebody else?
Yeah.
Because we liberate ourselves so that we can. And everybody at this table has that opportunity to liberate. Workforce development, everything we're doing, we have the opportunity to share that information so that other people can be liberated, so that we can eventually chip away at this madness and get some of it behind us anyway, so that we can, achieve that life that I think all of us really, at this table anyway, that we want to see. So again, this 1,000, and we're going to cut it out, but I want to, I don't know if you were in the room, but we're looking at a possible